So you'll be disarmed this year. You'll see that there's nothing you should have been worrying about. You should have just went through the process like I've told you to do this very way, and you would have learned sooner. But you'll understand by technical science aspect of what it is I do. And the reason I'm saying technical science, because the guys over in Goldman Sachs, they made a remark one time. You don't have to complicate this stuff, because they see everything I talk about. They see the things I teach, and it's a lot of moving parts. And because, they don't really make any decisions, they just follow a long-term model and hope it moves in their favor with somebody else's money. That idea allows them to be standoffish, snooty, snobberish. Like, hey, we don't need to do that. It's too much effort, too much technical science. It's just trading. It's not technical science. So when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that and run with it. And it really is very similar to what you could call what it is I do and what my students do. It's technical science. See, when you look at an indicator and you're looking at moving averages and you're looking at all the things that everybody else knows about in books. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? This has nothing to do with the word that shall not be named. It's common sense. If everybody knows that if an 18-day moving average crosses over a 40-day moving average, and they're both sloping up, that's called stacking, okay, when they're both pointing in the same direction up, and then an indicator, like a slow stochastics, 14-period slow stochastics smoothed by a 3%. If that is used as your oversold condition, and you see it cross over and start pointing up after being oversold, everybody that's ever read anything about books knows that would classically be defined as what? That's a buy signal. Okay, everybody knows that. But pray tell, why is it that everybody isn't making millions of dollars with that? Exactly. It's more to it than that. There has to be something to ferret out what? The shit that doesn't work. Because there's so many indicators and so many variables and so many potential theories inside of retail logic. How does the market and how does the participants of that market determine which flavor of the market retail logic they're going to use for that day, for that market, for that time frame, for that session of that day in that time frame? You see how infinitely this is ludicrous. It's madness. And when I took a step back and looked at my own approach to doing this and seeing the results not being supportive at all, I was like, okay, there's a way to do this, but it's not by doing this, applying different things all the time, constantly evolving, thinking I'm evolving into a better version of a retail trader. But in fact, all I was doing was constantly adding more dirt and making the water even harder to see through. But you feel like you're doing something constructive. I'm going to show you the opposite, even with my own content, which is what it's been all the time. But because you see that mountainous volume of work that I put on my YouTube channel, I ain't going through all those 900 and some videos. Good grief. Not that there's not, I don't even know how many videos there are. But I know I've made a lot of videos over the time of teaching. I want you to know what it looks like using a simple approach to what it is that I do, using that model from last year. I'm also going to teach you a variable in it. So that way, when we look at price action, what we're trying to do is ascertain what it is that the retail crowd is going to be likely expecting. You have to know what that is. Not because we want to duplicate or replicate or mimic it. We have to know what they're likely to anticipate in price, because that crowd is most of the time inaccurate. They tend to be the losing crowd most times. Now, inside that community of traders, there are diamonds, traders that still find consistently profitable outcomes. But that logic, even those individuals use, is flawed. I'm not knocking profitability. I'm not knocking experience. I'm not knocking the accolades that they could show and lay it on the table and say, here's what I've done. Here's all the proof. Here's all the MyFX books. Here's all the track records. Here's all. I'm not arguing that those are facts. That's fine. I'm still arguing the fact that you're impressing upon anyone willing to listen to you and to the person in the mirror that that's the reason why the market did what it was doing. It has nothing to do with it. You're a good money manager. And that's commendable. Absolutely. But you're going to learn how to see price as it really is this year. And you're going to know what real jade is, because I'm going to show you what real jade is. So you've seen me show you jade every single day. I placed real jade in your hands on Twitter, tweeting to you a specific candle on a specific day and pointing to another direction away from it. So you know what I'm expecting. Calling it out real time. Every single day. Every single day. It's boring, isn't it? You know what's going to happen. ICT is going to sign on to Twitter. He's going to talk about something in the marketplace. It's going to deliver in your charts, and you're like, man, this keeps happening. This keeps happening. This keeps happening. That's exactly what it will feel like for you at the end of this year. You won't need ICT on Twitter. I'm trying to make myself irrelevant. Again, how is that a marketing ploy? I want you to be done with me at the end of this year. Some of you, I don't want you to separate yourself from us. You do want me to separate you and I. You do. Because that's independence. That's exactly what I want all of my students to have. And I don't feel any heartbreak over that. That's exactly what I'm trying to teach you to be. I want that. That's the outcome I want. You want me to be glad handing with you continuously. And that's normal. But there's a point at which a trader says, all right, I want independence. I don't want to be tethered to this person or this model or this service, this product. I want to be able to walk the walk myself and know, yeah, I might get slapped around once in a while, but it's not going to take me out of the game. I know how to weather it. And I'm going to continue with this approach because I know it will deliver consistent potential profitability. That's what every trader wants. The confidence knowing that they will be okay on their own. And most of you right now don't have that. So I'm doing the best thing I can, and really, frankly, the last thing I could do, except for trade your accounts for you, put a trade copier out there. The navigation through price action, using just a couple things that basically you already know, and streamlining it. So that way you know this is all you have to worry about. But ICT, why aren't you looking at this time frame ahead of orb? If I'm not talking about it, I'm not using it. Think about it now. You're bringing everything. You're bringing the kitchen sink approach. Just because I've taught many things on that channel doesn't mean I'm bringing all of it to these live sessions. Some of you are going to be like, wow, this is really simple. Exactly. And you would have discovered that had you done all of these things on your own. But you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time. And some of you are still going to be sitting in these live streams and disconnect, turn it off and say, this is wasting my time. And I want you to know, here right now, hear me. You will never make it as a trader because you're not able to subscribe to a point of view long enough to see if it's really worthwhile or not. I already know it works. I have students all around the world that are making real money with it. I don't need you to support it. I know it works. But I'm making it available to even you, the doubters, the cynics, the skeptics. So we will arrive at a narrative each day. What I think might pan out in terms of price action. And because of that narrative, I will subscribe to a bias for the day and for that particular live session whether it be the morning session. Predominantly, they're going to be morning sessions. But throughout the year, I'm going to sprinkle in afternoon sessions. That way we're not just doing one trick pony morning sessions. And some days, if I feel, that my family and my wife will be in support of the idea, I might do the morning and the afternoon session that day. But we'll take that on a day-by-day basis, and I'm not promising it, but it's likely to occur because I'm going to ask her, throughout the year if it's something really designed to do well, or maybe it's something I will show you how if maybe I get the morning session wrong. Okay, it's going to happen. I'm human. I'll say, okay, well, let's meet back again at 1:30, and we'll do the afternoon session and see how would I try to mitigate if I took a live trade, which you won't see me pushing the button in, but you will see me outline where the market should go. This is a particular PD array. The market should go higher or lower from here. And this is where the market should not go to. When I say it should not go there, in your mind, when you're journaling after the fact, not pushing a button and putting a stop loss in there, but that's the equivalent thereof. And you'll see what I mean. I'll do a couple mock-ups in the first couple of weeks and show you what you should be doing in terms of post live stream. Everything you heard me talk about, what I did in my charts, you'll have my whole chart with the annotations, obviously, as I'm going throughout the day. But I don't know if I'll tweet it or if I'll post it on TradingView. I'll publish. Maybe that's what I'll start doing on TradingView. I'll publish end of day like a journal. Let me know. Give me a 1 in response to the tweet that shows this live stream or this podcast, or what is it called here? Twitter Space. But give me a number 1 if you would like me to use TradingView and publish my chart and with all my personal annotations and observations that I think are pertinent to that particular live session. And then I'll just publish it right to. So if you follow me on TradingView, you'll be able to just go to my profile. I've never done anything on TradingView like that, but I know you can publish things there. And I'll just treat that as this year's journal. And anything noteworthy, I'll just dump it there. That way you can see it. It'll stay there, and it's pretty much. I think it's easy to see it. I've seen other people doing it, but so I'll go through the analysis, traditional market analysis. Then I'll go through how I develop my own personal narrative in the morning, what things I'm utilizing. So by repetition, you'll see, oh, this is all it took to do that? Yeah. And then bias, why it should do this, go up, or why it should go down. And you'll see everything that you're doing that's complicating it. I'm not complicating this. I've never complicated it. It's just you're trying to read another language that you've never learned yet. But once you understand the language, you see that there's very little that's necessary or required for you to find setups that pay out. And then, after we arrive at the bias within that narrative that I'm going to frame for you, we'll look for precision signatures. And what are they? Specific elements within time of day and specific PD arrays inside the PD array matrix. What is that? Well, it depends on what the market's presenting me, because not every run is going to have a breaker. Not every run is going to have a fair value gap. Eventually they will, but not in the beginning of the move. And you'll see, and you'll hear, and you'll understand this is what the market's presenting us right now. Right now, this is what you need to focus on. Does the market look to do this? Does it do that? And you'll see it, folks. You will see it, and it will come alive. The charts will start communicating much more information to you than what you already see now. It'll feel like the same way it feels when you look at a hindsight chart and you say, oh, if I just would have saw that real time. You're going to see me do that real time. You're going to see it. You've already seen enough of it. You've seen that through tweets. It's codified in timestamps. There's nothing being deleted. Okay, as much as I want to go back and delete some of these embarrassing typos, I don't delete anything. It's there. And it can't be argued. It was called beforehand, and it delivered to the tick. Daily, weekly. And that's what my subscribers have seen, my long-term students. They've seen years of that every single day using higher time frame charts. So don't be afraid or think that this doesn't fit me. As much as I want to use this information ICT, I just simply cannot trade intraday charts. My life doesn't allow me to do this, and I'm struggling. What do? You study what I've taught in these live sessions and apply it to higher time frame charts. It's the same thing, folks. If I show you examples and I hide, I take away the time frame and I say, what do you see here? Do you see this? You'll see it's the same thing, because price is fractal. The same things that we'll do on a 1 minute chart, a 30-second chart. I said that right. 30 seconds. Every candle is 30 seconds in interval. It's the same thing applied in that time frame all the way up to a weekly and monthly, to a quarterly chart, to a yearly chart. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Price is following the same characteristics of delivery, no matter what time frame you're using. And you're going to know. How do you know which time frame to use? I'm going to show you that. But I can't write a paragraph in a book or a chapter in a book. I can't do a video series and just do stale examples of it, and you get the real understanding of what it is to understand what it is I'm teaching you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to lay it in your hands every single time we come together live. You will understand exactly what to do, what not to do, what to focus on, what not to focus on. What's the things I'm not supposed to focus on? Everything I'm not talking about. If I'm not mentioning it, it's not important. And I'm telling you, your face is going to ache because you're going to be smiling, because it's like, this is so much easier than I thought it was. Yes. And you have delayed that gratification. You have, not me, you have. You haven't simply sat down and did the work of being in front of these charts when it's uncertain, it's scary. You might get it wrong. That's wonderful. That's opportunities for you to learn and grow. But you look at that as failure. That's not failure. How is it failure if you've never put a live trade on? You didn't take a loss there. In the same capacity, reversing it, and when it does something right in your favor, you can't look at that and call that success. You didn't make profits on that. So see what happens when you start doing that? You want to skew the results of your progress, and these milestones are hidden from you because you want to have a report card. Am I doing right? On my first day at school, I don't know how to write the alphabet. I don't know how to do simple arithmetic. I can't even write the number 3. But I should know how to figure out 6 times 8. I should know what the square root of 9 is. On your first day, that's unrealistic expectations. And social media has cultivated that. Your expectations on yourself and however everyone else around you should view you is completely diametrically opposed to reality. And you're going to see there's nothing to worry about. You're going to lose. You're going to miss. You're going to do it right, but not do it good enough. That's all normal. That's all normal. There's nothing to be afraid of.